Lasseter is one of the biggest early contributors to Pixar history, so it's time to rank his filmography from my least favorite to my favorite. Cinema, where we focus on the film. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema. Let me know down in the comments below how you'd rank John Lasseter's film from your least favorite to your favorite. They're all Pixar films, so they all fall under what I just recently ranked for the complete filmography, but this is just John Lasseter's list, giving him his own spotlight. But going right into it, in last place, we have Cars 2, one that I don't necessarily hate, but it is so rambunctious with trying to make Mater a main character when he is mostly that goofy side character that's fun and lovable for the kids, that I still enjoy his character for what he contributes to the humor as a whole, as the side, but putting him within this heavy spy drama that's similar to James Bond and intermixing that with all of his goofy humor just works half of the time, but also can be pulled back the other half of the time because there's so much serious drama, there's so much goofiness that I can enjoy bits and pieces of each, but looking at it as one complete film, it just fights against itself to be a good film and also a bad film at the same time, which can be interlooked to be so bad that it's good. But for my personal feelings, it's not going to be one that I watch time and time again for the fact that I get so mixed up with my feelings as I watch it. And at fourth place, we have A Bug's Life, one that I don't particularly lean into the early years of Pixar, that just doesn't necessarily feel it has a clever use of what it's doing, just looking into bugs, but for what its format has to be told, it does good service to what it is going down into, having at least the puns and the humor to be saving the grace of everything that it has for it, and the themes are at least good enough and thematic for the human-like characteristics they add to the characters that at least make them relatable, give lessons to be learned at least for what you're earning out of it, and it's enjoyable enough to learn the culture of these ants and all these other bugs that go on this different feud in different places. And while it isn't a clever, rambunctious film and has this down-to-earth setting, it does service to what it is taking place in, going about ants, how they would react in certain situations, and giving them a voice, trying to believe what they are going after as a whole. And at number 3, we have Toy Story, one I just enjoy for the idea that they go after as the very first Pixar film, just going after this idea where the toys can come to life when we're not looking at them, and having their own voice, having their own culture and colonies of their own, and just getting to learn the little ideas along the way, just things we have questions sort of we might have had as a kid, if our toys move when we're not looking, and all of that sort of jazz. But just the way it goes about it, it's clever in its wits. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen in their respective roles as Woody and Lightyear, just what they do with that is just so fun, introducing new toys that fall behind the shelf, and everything that goes about that. While we get Sid, that is just a wild character that for me personally, I feel I want to get a bit more out of the explanation why he's so evil for the sake of being evil within a house that has a mother and a sister as well, and what all of that pulls off can be a little bit too much at times for Sid's wild behavior, blowing off rockets, changing toys, and just what his trauma is going through. I feel I need a little bit more explanation and answers to be provided to enjoy it a bit more. And at number 2, we have Toy Story 2. This one leads into just the ideas of selling toys online, the value of toys, and so it doesn't necessarily have a villain per se, and you can almost empathize with the villain, if you would call him that, for his market value, almost being able to get rich, and his plan ultimately fails, but just what they do and building upon Woody's character, his background, and the lore behind Woody and his Woody's Roundup, while also having a fight between Lightyear and just whether he's meant to be with the rest of the toys or not, and how that all shows down just goes about a different way that brings and introduces a fun new cast of characters that adds to the fun set of toys that Andy has. And at number 1, we have Cars. Now, one that I can be a little bit harsh on at certain times, but upon my recent rewatch, just the getting out of the themes of humility and trust what you can get out of Mater and Lightning McQueen, everything that goes about this race, and just within the race itself, you're getting the main character, the good guy, the villain, and also the one that's sort of the anti-hero, that is Lightning McQueen, that has to go about this lesson throughout this place, and going about this small town, and announcing it to the world, putting a spotlight on unnoticed towns once bypasses get put in, everything that goes along with that. It's not super clever in its wits of what it's showcasing, and Sally is sort of a female love interest that doesn't necessarily feel earned for how quickly they shoehorn her in to the love interest with Lightning McQueen, but for what this film has to offer as a whole, old legends and everything that goes along with the cast as a whole just makes this really lively, really enjoyable, and maybe that's partially because I remember it a lot more for when I was growing up, but ultimately that's what the service has provided, having sometimes not liked that as much, but for this personal ranking, I just have to put it as my number 1 of John Lasseter's films that I would rank from my least favorite to my favorite. And let me know down in the comments below how you would rank his film. Do you like him as a director? Do you not like him? Or is he somewhere in the middle? Let me know your consensus of all his films as a whole. Make sure to like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you're already. Join in film culture community where we talk about the love of cinema as a whole. But as always, go do yourself a favor and go watch a movie.